today we're going to dive into a really beautiful, timeless story from Odisha. It's all about the most profound bond you can possibly imagine, the one between a person's heart and the divine. Get ready, because it's a story of pure ecstasy, incredible suffering, and a love that just completely blurs all the lines. So the whole story, everything we're about to talk about, it really boils down to this one central question. Can God suffer for a devotee? And I don't mean in some abstract philosophical way. I mean, can the divine actually physically feel pain for someone who loves them? Just keep that question in the back of your mind as we go through this. All right, so let's meet our main character. His name is Balaram Das, and he was one of 5 revered saints known as the Panchasakha, which basically means the 5 friends of Lord Jagannath. But for Balaram, this was way more than just friendship. His love was so intense, so all-consuming that his entire life was pretty much a song of devotion. He actually earned the title Matta Balarama Dasa. Now, the word Matta can just mean mad or crazy, but in his case, it was a title of honor. It meant he was divinely intoxicated, totally enraptured by a love that just didn't make sense by worldly standards. His so-called madness, it was really the highest form of spiritual ecstasy. The original story uses this absolutely beautiful metaphor to describe his devotion. I mean, just think about that for a second. A river doesn't stop and ask for directions. It just flows to the ocean. That was his love for Jagannath. It was pure, fearless, unconditional. It wasn't something he did. It was just what he was. Okay, so this is where things get really intense. This is the moment where that divine love crashes head-on into our harsh human reality. It all kicks off on a quiet night in Paris, a night that starts with a sacred secret meeting and ends in a prison cell. Can you just picture this? Balaram Das is deep in meditation, and all of a sudden the air is filled with this sweet smell of ripe jackfruit. And right there, standing in front of him, is Lord Jagannath himself, with this playful smile on his face. The Lord of the universe just shows up and invites his friend to share a late-night snack. It completely erases the line between God and devotee. It's just a moment between 2 inseparable friends. And this is how fast a divine moment can be totally misunderstood by the world. So first, you have this beautiful, blissful feast, but then, bam, the temple guards show up. And of course, they can't see the Lord. All they see is Balaram Das with what they think is stolen fruit. To them, it's an open and shut case of theft. So he's accused, he's beaten brutally, and he's thrown into prison. And through all of that, Balaram Das doesn't say a single word. He just silently takes the pain, his heart repeating the only truth he knows, the name of Jagannath. So, while Balaram Das is suffering in this dark, lonely prison, the truth of what really happened that night, well, it finds another way out. Not in the waking world, but in the world of dreams. The Gajapati king, the most powerful man in the entire kingdom, he's sound asleep in his palace, totally clueless about the horrible injustice that just went down. But his sleep is about to be shattered by a vision that is both divine and absolutely terrifying. In his dream, the king sees Lord Jagannath, but his divine body is covered in bruises, and he's bleeding. The king is horrified. He asks, who could have possibly dared to harm him? And that's when he gets the soul-shaking answer. The Lord tells him that when the guards beat Balaram Das, it was he who felt every single blow. And then he says it. Balaram is not a sinner. He is my very life. The separation between them, it was just an illusion. Well, the king is completely terrified and awestruck. He immediately orders Balaram Das to be freed. But, for Balaram, this isn't over. You'd think he'd be relieved, but his heart isn't filled with relief. It's filled with this storm of hurt and love. And he walks straight from that prison to the temple, not to say thank you, but for a confrontation. Okay, so to really get what happens next, we have to understand this beautiful, beautiful concept called abhimana. This isn't anger or disrespect. It's a very special kind of loving complaint. It's that feeling of being hurt that you can only show to someone you love with total, complete intimacy. It's the right a devotee feels to question their beloved Lord. And with a heart just overflowing with this abhimana, Balaram Das stands before the deity, tears streaming down his face, and he just cries out. He questions Jagannath's love. He asks how his Lord could just stand by and watch him be punished like a common thief. It's this incredibly raw, powerful, and deeply personal moment of a devotee demanding answers. And it's in response to this raw, loving complaint that the final, most incredible revelation happens. Right there, inside the most sacred part of the temple, the veil between a human and the divine is about to be torn away for good. Suddenly, the temple is filled with this incredible divine light and a heavenly scent. And Lord Jagannath appears, not as some stern, distant god, but as a gentle friend, his voice just overflowing with affection as he speaks to his beloved devotee.
He says these beautiful words, the same thing he told the king. He tells Balaram Das, "You are my life," and that his pain is unbearable to him. And then he gives him the final, undeniable proof. He says, "Look at my back."
This is where you see two totally different realities just collide. The world's view, a devotee was punished for theft in a prison, but the divine truth was something else entirely. As Balaram Das lifted the Lord's garment, he saw it with his own eyes. The raw, bleeding wounds from the guard sticks were not on his body. They were on the back of Lord Jagannath himself. And as they embrace, the Lord speaks the ultimate truth, the words that dissolve all separation. Where my devotee is, there I am. Your pain and my pain are one. In that single moment, there's no more God and devotee, no master and servant. There's just one love, one consciousness, sharing one single reality. So, what's the lasting message of this incredible story? I mean, it's so much more than just a tale from the past. It's a living testament to what divine love is really all about. Let's break down the key takeaways. First off, this story shows us that the divine isn't some distant, indifferent force. The wounds on Jagannath's back prove that he is Bhakta Vatsala, infinitely compassionate, literally sharing in our every experience. And Balaram Das's silence in that prison cell, that wasn't weakness. It was an act of complete surrender, a spiritual power so strong it basically forced the divine to reveal the ultimate truth, that love, true love, can erase every single boundary we think exists. And that really leaves us with this one final thought to carry with us. The story of Matta Balarama Dasa challenges every one of us to ask ourselves, what does it truly mean to love without limits? And what might happen if we too believed in a love so powerful that our pain could become one with the divine?